happy Self Love Sunday. I am Tarnisha Moe Sass, your host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision strategist coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And since we've been in the month of July, I've been talking, I'm kind of getting back to the foundation of self love. And the reason being is, I see so much that's going on in the world. And with that being said, I'm just gonna get right into it because it led me to, and if you've been watching me for a while, and if you're new, welcome, and I hope you stick around and enjoy the content. But if you've been around for a while, which I thank you for sticking around, you know that I am a believer. And again, disclaimer, real quick, I'm not here to tell anybody who and what they should believe in. I'm just telling you that having a higher power in your life will help you through all of when life is lifing. And I don't know if you know this already, but life will always continue to life. And so I was thinking about, I don't know how it just came about, where the nine fruits of the spirit. And this is for those of you who are believers. I'm in Galatians 5. I'm going to jump around. But what these are, for those of you who don't know, these are the byproducts of living for God. And I will say this, I will never tell anybody what to believe in. However, if these byproducts are a result that you get for living for your higher power, I promise you, is beautiful. And you may be asking, like, well, what does this have to do with self love? Well, one, Galatians talks about loving thy neighbor as yourself. The biggest thing is we can't love one another, and it's because we don't love ourselves. And I thought to myself, what if we took these nine fruits and actually started to feel this for ourselves first, so that, and I understand, I'm gonna be clear, I am I'm using something in the Bible, not directly the way that it is read. I understand this is about living for God. And when you have the Holy Spirit, I understand that. Let me just say that for the people who want to come over here, I understand this is a big world wide web. Come in and want to correct people, I understand that. But what I'm talking about is utilizing this so people can learn how to love themselves. So what are the nine fruits of the spirit? They are like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. Like these are not just virtues, but they're keys to unlocking a more fulfilling relationships, first with yourself and then with others. When we can operate in these modes, it changes the game, right? And so just imagine the impact that you would have, the impact of on the world at large. First of all, always starts in your home before it can affect anything outside of that. If we decided to embody these fruits fully, and I'm talking about embodying them fully for ourselves first. So let's first talk about the first fruit, which is love. Like love begins and ends with you. It all does. Most people's like, oh, I'll treat people how they treat me. Well, how do you treat yourself? Like real talk. Like how do you treat yourself? Do you talk down on yourself? Do you beat yourself up? And I'm like, I understand that there's these what I call keyboard gangsters and people who walk around and they first thing out their mouth is I don't care, and I don't care what people think, and I don't care what people say. I'm like, okay, tell that to somebody else. Right? There is always a little inkling of that there, and furthermore, when I don't care, I don't feel the need to announce it. I just don't care, right? And so love starts with you. It's not just a feeling, it's an action, it's a decision, it's a commitment on how you handle yourself, what you deal with yourself, what you put up with yourself, and what you put up with others. It's especially when we talk about like as a mom, a dad, entrepreneur, wife, husband, friend, you know what I mean? Like how you love yourself is going to set you up in those relationships, because all relationships, including the one with yourself, require boundaries. Okay. So the way you love yourself is a true depiction upon how people are in your life. If you're still people pleasing, letting people walk all over you, say what they want, do what they want, I guarantee you do not love yourself. It is not love to allow anyone to continuously cross your boundaries, to continuously shrink you back, to continuously make you feel small. And I'm gonna say something else today that's gonna probably be a little controversial, but I told you I'm not gonna say it like why I'm gonna say it like that, but it's like because I feel like you need to hear it. And it's no longer them. When you start accepting it, you can't blame them. It's you. Like they don't have any control. You have the control. And when you allow others to do these things, what happens is it pushes you into victim mode. And the thing about victims is victims don't have choices. And I'm gonna say this to you: as long as you're living and breathing, there is always another choice. Now, whether or not you're scared to make it, that's a whole other story. But there is always another choice. There's always another choice. You don't have to put up with how people, treat you. And I will say it's a byproduct of how you treat yourself. So, do daily acts of love with yourself. Because I know it's like, well, how do I do that? Write yourself a love letter. When the last time you sat down and wrote a love letter? But most times people write to other selves. Write it to yourself. What are the things that you're proud of that you've accomplished? One of the things that I say that I'm most proud of is that, I was a teen mom and none of my kids are teen parents. That makes me extremely proud. I'm not saying that we don't have issues, because we do. And I'm not saying that they don't have issues. What I'm saying is I'm proud that they did not follow in those footsteps. And so that's something that I would write down. I'm proud that I've spent well over 26 years in corporate America. I'm proud that I started my own business. So you see how this goes. So I want you to sit down and write that stuff for you too, right? It doesn't have to be the way, what I think, but for yourself, write yourself a love letter. Celebrate you. Celebrate your strengths. So often we beat ourselves up for our weaknesses, but we don't celebrate our strengths. Celebrate your strengths. Forgive your shortcomings. We all have them. And acknowledge your journey. Acknowledge that it wasn't easy. But if you're still standing, that you did it. That's how it starts. It starts with that. And you know me, I'm always, because I'm a vision strategist coach, I'm going to say, after you write that letter, I want you to go and envision the joy, the joy that you feel, and the happiness. See yourself as a child experiencing something different. And why am I telling you to do that? Because when you write a love letter to yourself, you're writing it to your inner child. You really are. Just to let them know, like, you did it. Like, thank your inner child. And also allow your inner child to rest. I actually just did this exercise and it was such a beautiful feeling. you know Let the love flow. See your inner child being free. I know that there were some harmful things that happened to you as a child. Most children have experienced something harmful, whether inside the house or outside the house. Teasing, I'm sorry, bullying, all those things. And guess what? You can change the narrative of that. Go in, and once you write yourself that love letter, and see that child happy and free and running and frolicking. And I know it sounds like fluffy and rainbowish. And why can't we have that? Why can't we have that? Like, you deserve to feel fluffy and rainbowish. Real talk. What it's gonna do is it's gonna fill you up. So now, once you start to fill yourself up with these spirits, with these nine fruits of the spirits, I promise you, it's gonna have you. You're gonna be different around people because you love yourself a little bit better, because you're more, like, and you're really like working with yourself inside out. So you're not gonna allow anybody to do anything and say anything to you anymore. You're not gonna allow it. It's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and bigger than that, when you start to do it, you're gonna impact your family and friends in such a different capacity, such a different capacity. Then you're loving them from an overflow place, which means that you're not loving them just to get something back from them, so that when they don't do what you expect them to do in your mind, but you haven't voiced it, you're not pissed off and mad and talking about how no one ever shows up for you and no one ever does this for you and no one ever does. Well, guess what? Do it for yourself first. Do it for yourself first. And I know it's tiring. You're talking to somebody who's a single mom. I know it's tiring. I know you say you're tired of doing it for yourself. I hear you. I really do. And guess what? We still got to do it. Still got to do it. Why? Because what it's going to do is it's going to open up, and then people are going to start to trickle in. And guess what? There's going to be people that show up in your life that then are going to do those things for you. And I promise you, I'm proof of that. I had to change the things that were inside of me. It wasn't that I was such a bad person, but I did some bad things. And I had to learn to start loving myself a little bit, learn to start loving myself so I can walk it differently. Right. So that was just number one. Okay, it was it was love. So let's talk about joy. Oh man, when they talk about joy comes in the morning, like joy is like an inner cheerfulness, right? It's like even when life throwing you curveballs, it's like I could still have a little bit of joy. And so I'm going to tell you some of the ways that I incorporate little sparks of joy in my life. It could be like me listening to gospel music. I love anything that's going to inspire me to dance and to feel free. There is this thing I used to do where you like take 5 minute breaks, just go dance, go jump around. I'm in love with my deck this summer, so I've been spending a lot of time just sitting on my deck chilling, just chill. That brings me joy. I'm going to tell you, like last night, I sat out on my deck, and it was like late. I'm wrapped up in my cover on the deck. I'm talking to my friend, and I get to finish with the phone with her, and I just turn on a cartoon movie called Home. And I know it's like it sounds weird, and it shouldn't. That as an adult, I watch cartoon movies, but let me tell you something. I take care of my inner child. Most people don't, and that's why they're angry, and that's why they beat themselves up. That's why they beat other people up. That's why they're negative all over social media. It's literally their 10, 13, 16-year-old self who never felt seen or heard when they were growing up, and who was people were negative towards them, so they do it to everybody else. They don't take care of themselves. Well, if you start doing these things, learn how to love yourself, do these joy rituals, stop looking at things as corny. You know what's corny? What's corny is walking around hateful. What's corny is walking around not loving yourself. What's corny is walking around because you're feeling negative. Everybody else around you should feel negative. What's corny is yelling and screaming and fussing and fighting all over the place. That's corny. This, what? This is everything. But these were the things that we weren't taught, especially if you came from inner city. You weren't taught that this was fun. No, all this stuff was corny. This was white people stuff, which I'm telling you, I've met a lot of them, live around a lot of them. This ain't even their stuff. Real talk. This is when you come home to yourself. This is when you make that decision, because it is a choice to walk with a higher power that's greater than this world. These are all choices, because what happens is, as you start to know whoever your God is, you're going to start to know yourself a little bit better. Because here's the thing: when you start to believe what God believes about you, it changes how you affect you, but also how you affect others. And it isn't overnight, and it isn't a magic pill, and isn't a unicorn pill. And what do I mean by that? Life is still going life, y'all. As we continue to go through this, I'm going to share a little bit more, even recently, with some things with me. Like life is still going life. And when you have these tools in your toolbox, it just helps you to navigate a little bit better. Okay. So these are ways to find joy. Like, listen, go skipping. People like, when the last time you skipped? Just skip down the street for no good reason. And if you're around anybody that says, hey, that's corny, get from around them. They're hateful. I said it. So find your joy zone. Go color. Like, do things that just used to bring you joy as a kid, man. And if you want to experience things as a kid that you never got to experience in your adult, go do those things. And joy is infectious. When you are joyful, you light up a room when you walk in. Like, be that, and not from a phony perspective. Because when you don't love yourself, a lot of people can walk in and pretend like. I mean, I've met some people. They actually scare me. They walk in and they're like, and and it's so great. Meanwhile, on the inside, it's a spirit that's like, yeah, you're not all there. You don't love yourself. You don't love other people. You're not even coming from a genuine place, and they don't know it. So that's why I say be easy. People be like, oh, every people know, they know what they're doing. Some people actually literally don't know, right? So be gentle, okay? So the next fruit, peace. Oh, peace, be. Let me listen, guys. Peace. Peace, people say peace is an absence of conflict. I actually don't really believe that. I believe that conflict is clarity. So I just believe that peace of mind is everything. You deserve and are worthy of having peace in your life. It starts with you being peaceful with yourself. Most times we're at war with ourselves, and therefore we're not experiencing peace outside of ourselves. So create an atmosphere of peace. Yo, in my house, I create an atmosphere of peace. It's generally quiet in here. I love, so you can do mindfulness practices. How do you start to feel the joy of peace? Meditation. just being calm, just going outside, enjoying nature, enjoying the air, enjoying the sun. It's beautiful. Enjoying the ocean if you can. Some people love the mountains. I'm not your girl, right? Like it's just, peace is sitting outside watching the sun come up. Doesn't matter where you live. You're finding ways to increase peace, and I'm all about having peace, particularly in my home, because I can't do anything. I can't control the outside the world. The outside world is going to do what it's going to do, and I am determined to have peace in my home. But that peace starts with the inner peace of me. The peace starts with being present. The peace starts with being mindful. The peace starts with, and here's the thing, whether you're working, playing with your kids, or spending time with your partner, you can find ways to be peaceful. You understand what I'm saying? Like just being mindful, and a lot of times bringing that joy and that love creates that peace. Embracing your soul, man. Spending time with just breathing, just breathing. You have to create it though. Most people think it's supposed to just naturally come. Yeah, nope. It doesn't just naturally come. You have to create it. And it's not always easy, especially if you lived in chaos. To create peace is not easy. And even me now, right? Like before, I wasn't saying that my house was chaotic. However, I wasn't always peaceful in the inside. And so, like it got real up in here. I would go off on my kids in a heartbeat, go off on my ex-husband, all of that. And what happens is because they grew up in some of that, now that you're trying to create peace, it's like, what? Like that's not what we're doing. And so you have to come from a gentle place. You have to come from a loving place. You have to come from a kind place. You have to come from a peaceful place to say, yeah, no, but and we all get to grow. And we don't get to stay in those same places anymore. And there's ways to get help. I talked about my system of success last week. You guys please check out my previous videos where I talked about that, building that system, because building that system helps you get to the peaceful place. Okay, so it's so important to create a peaceful environment. Your home should be a place of peace, period. And it starts with you. Don't blame it on your children, don't blame it on your spouse. It starts with you, taking those small subtle steps to create that peace, and then helping them understand that there's consequences, and consequences are not good or bad, right or wrong. They just are, to crossing certain boundaries in the house. Like we're not yelling and screaming in here anymore, and there's consequences to when that happens. Good, not good or bad, right or wrong. It just is, because that is life. You can't act like a maniac and expect the world to yield to you. That's not how that works. So you have to start to create it, but it's also the way you come. Build your sanctuary. I have a fan. Like it's certain things I listen to at night to help train my brain. I've did many videos on that as well. So guys will have to go back and check that out. Maybe I think I did talk about that last month. Just creating that serenity in your mind first, in your body, and then it'll start to create it in your outer world. It's a beautiful thing. And it's all on you to create the peace you want in your life. And if people in your life decide they don't want to be peaceful, guess what? You get to have a choice. They can come. It is your choice whether they stay. I don't care who they is. And yes, I say, I don't care who they are. Like it's you. It's up to you. You cannot put that on anyone else to create the peace in your home. I'm watching these videos with these parents on the internet, and they're just, oh, I don't know what to do with my kid. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Number one, get your butt off the internet, putting all your children's business, which is going to ride with them for the rest of their life, on the internet. So you have these videos of each other all over the place. They're videoing you, you're videoing them, never realizing that we all get to grow and we get to learn. And so having that out there is just a despicable reminder. And who wants to be reminded of their worst times? And it's so interesting that people were so ready to put out people's worst times and not celebrate their best times. It's such an upside down world today. Get your kids and their moments off the internet. Now, if you need that to talk to a therapist, that's completely different. But here's the thing: you should go Find a family therapist as opposed to letting the internet be the judge and the jury to not only take you down but your family down. People are backwards today, and I get it. I grew up without social media, so I have that mindset. And guess what? Social media is still a choice. Get your family off social media. Even for these kids, got your parent. Oh, look at how toxic my parent is. And some of these suckers have the nerve to be, 20 and older. Move out. Go about your way. And it sounds harsh, but you go find what it is. If your parent ain't doing it the right way and they're not good and they're this and they're that, well then guess what? Go out on your own and make your life better. How about that? But the way that people are tearing each other down today is sick. And I'm like, it's all because I want to be the one that's right. I want to be the victim, and that's exactly what that is. You know, listen, no one else may not tell you the truth, but auntie, sister, cousin, Mo over here is going to tell you. That's the reason why you do it. Poor me. Woe is me. I will never put my children's worst moments on social media because you know what I understand? I had worse moments. And I had an opportunity because I found the love of God and the love of myself to grow and to heal some of that meanness, some of that nastiness, some of that militantness. And they're going to get the same opportunity without the rest of the world having to see them at their worst. How about we start to depict people at their best? You know what videos get liked the most? The negative, the nasty, tear everybody down. And if you're the person that's doing that, then guess what? You're a part of the freaking problem. And you may say, well, they put their business on the internet. Well, you're the one who's watching it and sharing. I said what I said. So therefore, when you're a part of the problem, then you wonder why you don't have the peace and stuff in your home. Because it all starts with you and every action you take. Period. So now that we've tackled peace, we done tore it down with peace. Okay, so let's talk about patience. Patience is the anchor in all storms of life because you don't need to do anything. Is language. You can understand that you get to, you can choose to, and you're blessed to have patience with everything in life. You will have patience when you're building a business. You have to have patience when raising children. You have to have patience in the new world and how things operate. You have to have patience with yourself as you continue to grow and you learn that, and even sometimes when you have that mirror held up and you see all the things that you did in the past that were absolutely not good, right? You have to have patience, and especially if you're a busy entrepreneur and you're juggling everything or you're just working at so many jobs, patience is going to be your superpower. Patience that you're going to grow, patience that you're going to learn, patience that the love is coming, patience that the business is going to grow, patience that your kids are going to one day grow up and be different, patience that you're going to, the friend group that you desire to have is going to come, patience that you're going to have the peace in the boundaries. And I know it's, listen, you're talking to somebody who is beyond, was more back in the day, like than now, the most impatient person. What? Hey, I ain't got no patience. First of all, I ain't got no patience for you. I ain't got no patience for me. I ain't got no patience for they or them or nobody else. Like just keeping it a buck. And I've learned that because I know that joy is going to come in the morning because the storms don't last always. That I that the patience is going to help me and incorporate in some of these other things that I'm talking to you about in your everyday life is going to help you when the storms of life are going to come, and they're coming. Let me just help you out. Let me tell you something. I had to learn this the hard way. Just because I've accepted, God in my life doesn't mean that everything is roses. And no, absolutely not. What it did do for me though, as I started to incorporate, learning to have more of a better relationship with God. What it did was it helped me to be able to walk and navigate through the storms 10 times better than I ever did before. I'm just telling y'all. 10 times better than I ever did before. Before I'd have been fighting, cussing, fussing. I don't have to do all that anymore. And I think there's something to embracing the art of slowing down. You know, when you just really slow down and pan out, it gives you a better view of everything that's happening in your life. And and I am the one who always moves. I'm like Speedy Gonzalez, okay? And I had to learn just to slow down for a minute. And because when you're moving so fast, now there's something to momentum when you're building a business and when you're momentum full steam ahead. You know, money loves fast movement. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on this journey to loving yourself, on this journey to embracing the spirits, non-fruit of the spirits. I'm sorry. You know, having some learning to slow down, be mindful, take a breath. 5-5-5 method. 5 minutes, 5 deep inhales, hold it for a count of 5 exhales. That will change your life, particularly when you find yourself in a pinch or in a situation where you don't want to react the way you used to. Learning to do that will change your life. Okay? So just deliberately taking time to sit down and reflect. And sometimes even before, if you're having a disagreement with your spouse, with your children, in business, just taking that moment, practicing patience, practicing slowing down, breathe. You know, I understand that right now there is a lot on both sides. How about we just take a minute, take a beat, let's come back. Because I'm telling you, that will save more lives if we've learned to just take a minute, get out of our feelings, and practice some patience. But the thing is, you have to have patience with yourself, which leads me to the next fruit, which is kindness. It don't cost you nothing to be kind, y'all. And you know something? Kindness is so healing when you can just be kind. It can transform a person's life just to see somebody. You know, I don't talk about things that I do, and I will tell you that when was the last time you were in an arena somewhere and you saw somebody who was on crutches, and you know people who are on crutches, they can't get around, they can't move up and down, and you just offered, hey, can I go get you a water? Hey, can I get you a snack? When's the last time you did? Like it's cost you nothing. And here's what I'll say, because sometimes we are kind to the people, but how about you be kind to yourself? The same kindness that you offer to everybody else, how about you offer it to yourself? How about you just take a day and pamper yourself and just be kind? What does that look like? Well, if you make a mistake, be kind to yourself. Why don't you tell yourself the same thing that you would tell somebody who you truly love? The reason why I said that is because I don't say anymore, tell yourself the same thing you tell your kids, because I realize some people rip their kids to shreds. Yeah, I realize that. Not every parent um, is a parent that speaks life into their children. They don't even speak life into themselves. So I would say that if you don't know how, then maybe it's time for you to get with a coach or get with a therapist to learn how to do that. To learn how to speak kind, to when it like just stop beating yourself up for things you didn't know. Now, here's what I'll say: if you knew better and you didn't do better, that's another scenario. But if you didn't know what you didn't know and you messed up, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You know what's so interesting? Most times it's not the apology that people get hung up on, it's the forgiveness. Because somebody can apologize, but did you forgive them? I was just talking to my friend about that last night. But you got to incorporate kindness. And so here's a way that you can start to do that. Keep a journal and record daily acts of kindness, both that you give and that you receive. If someone does something kind for you, they write it down and reflect on it. I know it's like, what, another thing to write down. And here's the beauty of writing things down: it helps to get things out of your body, it helps to release the trauma and the unhealed things. Journaling is the most beautiful thing that you can ever do. And I have a beautiful guided journal. If you're interested in it, the link will be in the bottom of this video. And if you find this video on social media, I do have my link tree to my books, and I have a journal card deck that also helps too. Journaling is everything, I promise you. But random acts of kindness, there used to be a thing where it used to be like pay it forward, where people would buy people these drinks in like the Starbucks line and stuff like that, and giving out. I know a lady used to do. She used to go get a bunch of $5 Wawa gift cards and just hand them out. It's such a triple effect. It really is. Random acts of kindness are. I'm telling you, if you ever want to feel fulfilled, just go do some random acts of kindness. Here's the other part. Do it for yourself first before you do it for somebody else. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it for others. I'm just saying, do it for you. Do it for you. Do a random act of kindness for yourself. Take the day off and just spend the day chilling. Go get a massage. Go to the chiropractor. If you want to do something that doesn't cost money, go to the park. Take a drive. Just chill. And the whole while you're doing it, just love on yourself. Be kind to yourself. The next fruit, which is goodness, man. Goodness is just a moral compass. This is a moral compass that guides your actions, right? Like real talk. Like if you are someone who is naturally good, you're good whether somebody's watching or not. And that's all about your values, right? So what are your values? Do you know them? Are you in because here's the thing, when you know your values, you're in alignment with your values, and that produces the goodness, right? So goodness, like that's like volunteering, helping your neighbor out, or just simply offering a smile to somebody. Like, yo, I wish people knew this. Just smiling and saying hi to somebody, game changer. Holding the door. I did that the other day. It was like the girls coming out of Starbucks. She didn't have a lot of hair. I just held the door, and she was like, "Oh, thank you so much. I love your." I had like this workout outfit on, and I was like, "Thank you." Right? Just that little interaction. You don't know what people are going through. You know when you feel like crap and you go outside, and you putting on a front on your face so people don't know what's going on. So it's the same thing for everybody else. So, and when you operate from a place of good, and it's not all the time, y'all. I get it. Some days you're just like, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. I understand that. I'm not saying it all the time, but here's the thing: be good to you. That song is playing in my ear. I'll be good to you, good to you, good to you. I'll be good to you. Start with yourself first. And it really sets a powerful example when you're really good to yourself because it shows, and you'll be effortlessly good to everybody else without a camera. I do more things off camera than I do on camera. And that's not to say that it's not okay to video it. I get it. I understand that we live in a world where content is king. And so we have to, film everything, or is it not true? I'm just saying that try doing more of living with integrity and fostering trust with others and build a community rooted in genuine care and respect off camera more than on, because it'll reflect through anyway. So the next fruit, faithfulness. Woo! We're talking about trust and loyalty. Ah, are you loyal to yourself? Are you loyal to yourself? Do you keep your promises and commitments to you? If you like, do you keep your commitments to your commitments? So if you committed to being healthy, if you committed to slowing down, if you committed to stop cussing, if you committed to stop drinking, are you keeping your commitments to your commitments to yourself? Because that will really assess how loyal you are to everybody else. I don't care what nobody says. You're not loyal to yourself and you betray yourself on a regular basis, you'll betray somebody else easily. Ask me how I know. You will, in the most small, subtlest ways too. It's not, it may not be a big thing, but you will. You absolutely will. But when you are like really faithful to your friendship, it's the glue that holds y'all together. And I'm in a better place of being able to do that because I did it with myself. I'm trying to tell you guys, like, you gotta do it with yourself first. It will make you a better friend. It's not selfish. I know somebody's watching. It's like, it's so selfish to put me first. Lies. Lies. What's selfish is you don't put yourself first, and then you go out here and do all these things for the people, and you expect them to do everything back for you, and they don't, and now you're pissed with the whole world, and you're resentful and you're hateful. Do it for yourself. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna change your life. Build a relationship with your higher power. Learn to start praying and meditating on your prayers. Getting to learn who your God is a little bit deeper. And it's like when you start to build that trust, right? And build, just a deeper relationship with your higher power, it just helps you learn yourself, like I said earlier, a little bit better. But it also helps you know who God really is, because he's not who people say he is. Absolutely not. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today. What I will tell you is, I was raised in the church most of my life, and most of the things that they made me think and feel about how God was, and most of it was from a negative, beat you down light. He's not that. He's not that. Now that's not to say that he's a father. So yeah, there is consequences, not good or bad, right or wrong. Like I said earlier, there are consequences, and he loves you. Ooh, and he loves you, and he believes in you. And Sarah Jakes Roberts said something the other week, and it just touched my soul. I want people to know that when I meet you, I believe what God says about you. The question is, do you believe what he says about you? Do you even know? I'm going to leave that there, and we're going to move on to the next one, which is gentleness. Being gentle with yourself and with others, I promise you, if you just get this, it will change you as a leader. It will change you as a leader when you learn how to be gentle with others. Now, here's the thing about me, I have a gentle toughness. It's a gentle way, it's a gentle, tough love. So it's not soft at all, but it soothes, it supports, it nurtures, and it's strong, and it's loud. People think that when they're loud and boisterous, no, gentle touch. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something, ladies. You love a man and he going through something, a gentle touch behind the back of his head. Just put your hands on him. Lay your hands on his heart. Men, same thing. You want to look, you want to soothe the savage beast in her? Gentle with her. Hug her. Stroke her back. Just let her lay in your arms. It'll change the game. That's soothing. Change the tone of your voice. Whew. Especially when the situation is already stressful. Learn to be gentle in a stressful situation. It's gonna change it. It's gonna change it. If they're on 30, don't go to 30. You stay at 5. Let them be on 30. Real talk. And I'm gonna tell you why that's important, because it leads to the next fruit, which is the last one, self-control. You learn to be gentle to help you with self-control. I'm gonna tell you something. Me and my son, the baby, just got into something the other day. And I mean, he was going off, y'all. He was like going off. Do you hear me? Off. Now, was his feelings valid? 1,000%. I'm gonna tell you right now. Don't invalidate your children's feelings. You don't even validate their feelings because you don't validate yours. What their experience is their experience. We can't tell them that their experience of something was wrong. You can have a different experience, but you can't tell them to. But regardless to what they're doing, you have to have self-control. And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm telling you from a place of, I couldn't have had this talk with y'all last year. If you go back to any of my videos prior to right now, you wouldn't have heard me talking about some self-control. Not that I didn't have it, but I didn't have it to this degree. Absolutely. I almost cursed. Absolutely the heck not. And I don't not curse on here because I never not curse. I want to say that I'm not no goody two shoe. And the reason why I don't do it is because I want young adults to be able to listen to this, and I want them to listen with clean ears. Okay. Um, but the self control, man, he was going. I'm gonna tell you something. Everything that I told y'all about these 9 fruits, I utilized in that moment. I just breathed. I let him go completely off. I stayed in control of myself because there's no controlling someone else. You need to hear that today. And I'm back in the, so I was learning, bust them in the mouth, bust them in the head, like real talk. And last year, that's probably what I would have did to keep this a buck with you. And guess what? I'm not the same person I was last year. I love myself. I love my peace. I love my I love my joy. I love my kindness and the good. I don't have to do any of that anymore. This is what I'm telling y'all. They can do whatever the heck they want. I don't have to do it. And in that moment, I said, "Here's what I can offer you." I said, your experience is 100%, and your and how you feel is 100% valid. Your behavior though is what's unacceptable in this moment. So what I can offer you is we can, and this is my mo. I can call a therapist and we can sit down and talk to it. So I can hear you and you can hear me because I tell anybody this. You can scream at the top of the lungs all you want. The person you're talking to ain't heard nothing you said. Not one thing. This is for my yellows and my screamers. Okay, not one thing. Nope, ain't hurt jack you said. And no, you're not hurting them. No, you can't make them feel anything. They just shut down. Absolutely not. Okay. So I said, what I can offer you is that. I said, because right now, where we this conversation gets to stop, and that's what we can do. You let me know. That's what you want to do. But right now, I'm gonna get back to work. Literally, a year ago, my 16-year-old self would have met his 19-year-old self. He'd have punched in the mouth. Who you talking to? Girl, we don't have to live like that no more. We ain't gotta live like that no more. So if you want to know how did I get there, just being mindful, learn to love myself a little bit more, learn to be patient with myself a little bit more. The biggest thing I did was um, I loved on my inner child so much. And I let her know she can rest now. She can trust me. I got it. I didn't beat her up for all the things that she didn't do right. I was like, no, thank you. You got us to this point. And I literally did this not too a couple of days ago. I want to say maybe Monday, Tuesday at night. You got us to this point. I got this now. You can rest. But what do you guys do when you do something wrong? You beat yourself up. So that same rejection and everything that you felt from your parents or from whoever raised you in your life or whoever did that pivotal point in your life, that rejection and that unappreciated, like you allow that to continue to run rampant. But why? Because you do it to yourself now. Now your parents are not beating your butt; you're beating your own butt, right? So and I'll say it every video if I have to. What happened to you when you were younger is not your fault, but it's your responsibility to do something about it now. You may have been born looking like your parents, but you're going to die looking like a choice and decision, and you get to change it. You can blame anybody all you want, but there comes a certain point in your life where you have to take control of your life. This is what I'm talking about today. And you can absolutely do it. I tell anybody this, girl, if I listen, girl, I'm talking to my God friends like that too. If I can come here and I can be changed and I cannot like knock somebody's head off, I promise you. I promise you you can. And I'm not proud of those moments and I'm not gonna shrink back from them either because you're not gonna no, I'm not gonna allow anybody to shame me for where I grew from. That's another thing. Don't let nobody shame you from where you grew from. Are you crazy? You don't get to do that. You don't know me. You don't know my experience. Nobody gets to do that to you anymore. But you got to stop doing it to yourself. So how do you gain self-control? Start doing these mindfulness practice. Start meditating. Start learning how to build a relationship with your higher source, your higher power, whatever it is. I don't care. Buddha, Allah, a tree, I don't care. Find their manual, find their book. For me, it's the Bible. If you want to learn a great Bible is NIV version. It's wonderful because it helps break it down. I read the King James first and I was like, thus thou saith the Lord, and my head was feeling like my brain felt like it was gonna bust out my head, right? And I learned the NIV and it's a beautiful thing. And I'm still continuing to grow. I will never be perfect, nor will you. That just is what it is. Nothing about me is perfect. I mess up daily. But you know what I'm not doing? I'm not giving myself an excuse to stay low. I'm not giving myself an excuse to keep doing the wrong things over and over again. No, I'm learning and I'm growing. Perfectly imperfect. And I want you to do the same. I'm not talking about me to talk about me. I'm coming here and sharing me with the hopes that something I say will help transform you and your family. You know what I want for you? I want for you what God wants for us all, and that's to have heaven on earth. And it's possible. If you stop getting caught up in the news and you stop getting caught up in social media, it's possible, but you got to build it. You got to build it. You got to got to build it. But oh, when you do, the peace that comes with it and the impact that you will make on others because you made an impact on yourself is going to change the game. You ready to change the game? You wanna learn or ask questions? Reach out to me. It's your choice. I know sometimes people listen and they just hear and they don't listen. Reach out when you're ready. I had to be ready too. I get that. I had to be ready too. I was a 322 a month welfare mother child. I know about having to be ready. To be angry most of my life with my parents. I get it. You got to be ready. And when you are, you ready to ask that question, you could put it underneath a video or always respond. You can email me at info@mosass.com. I know everybody's not ready to put it down on social media. Just don't mess with me with no foolishness and don't mess with me with no solicitations because people do that too. I'm not the one. I am loving, but that tough love is still resides with me. Okay, where the toughest resides, where the toughest resides inside me. Okay, don't play. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to challenging you to choosing one of these 9 fruits that I talked about. Right? Choose one of the 9, whether it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. Just choose one. And for 7 days, live it out. And when I mean live it out, that means journal about it, write about it. Just take 7 days and practice it. 7 days. Choose one. If it's love, take 7 days and write love letters to yourself every single day. Every single day. Spend time loving on you and with that looking in the mirror and just say, you are worthy. Just say, I am worthy first. I am worthy. I am love. I am peace. I'm joy. And then reaffirm yourself. You are. Go look at last week's videos. I teach you how to do the affirm and reaffirm thing. I'm not going back there. And I love you for listening. Have the most amazing Sunday. And I will talk to you next week after I spend 8 hours with my coach. I am so excited. Oh, y'all, big things are coming. I love y'all. I can't wait to share it.